You get to post in the chat your burning question. And I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. Don't be afraid. Oh, it's too personal. The more specific, the better I can help you. But this is your time to ask me anything at all. Obviously, preferably related to business, but I guess I don't care. It could be personal. I'm happy to answer any personal questions. So I'm going to prime the pump by some common questions that I get asked on Facebook quite a bit. And I'll prime the pump with a few pre-populated questions that I pulled from Facebook, but I want you to type in your burning question, and I'll pull it up on the screen kind of like this. See, you can see it. Patricia's on the screen. I'll put your question up on the screen and I will answer it. So this is Ask Debbie Anything Friday. And that's always easy for me because then I don't have to build a talk and think about what do people need to hear. It's like, let me answer your questions. So one of the questions that people ask quite often, especially if it's the owner who's in the field cleaning. So if you are still in the field sometimes or all of the time, right? So sometimes meaning you only help out when somebody calls in sick or quits, or you only help out on a big job. If you are sometimes or all of the time cleaning, type in either sometimes into the comments or type in all the time into the comments, just so I kind of have an idea. But people ask all the time, so when do I know when to hire, right? I want to expand. I want to grow. I'm tired of turning away business. When people refer me to their friends, their neighbors, their business colleagues, I'm like, sorry, I'm full, right? But it's kind of scary to hire. So when do I hire? If you want to expand, right? All right. So one person said sometimes. So type into the comments if it's sometimes or all the time. Now, if you never clean, meaning it's been completely delegated to your staff and you never clean, then go ahead and type in never. Just type in never, right? And when I say never, I mean, we're talking you don't clean every few months. You never clean. Like once a year you might go help, but hopefully never, right? And so type in never, sometimes, or all the time. So let me give you some guidelines. If you're wanting to expand your business and you get really frustrated with turning away business, here's a couple of guidelines. So first of all, you want to start hiring when you have more jobs than you can say yes to, right? It's like your schedule is full, you're working 5 days a week, you're jam-packed on your schedule, and you want to expand, you want to grow, you wish you had 10 employees doing all the cleaning and it's still just you or just you and one other person, right? And you have a burning desire to expand, because if you don't want to expand, then you should not hire, right? You should just raise the prices on your current clients if you're turning away business, right? Does that make sense? So if you don't want to expand, you do want to do the cleaning, you just like to make more money, then don't hire. Raise the prices. Start strategically picking off your lowest paid clients and raise their price, right? But if you want to expand, you hire so that you can expand, right? So let's see who's in here. Let's see. Caitlin writes, I don't have a question, but I am a part of CBF. Yay! And I must say, this community is one of a kind, and I don't know where I'd be without CBF. Debbie, you saved my business. Caitlin, you just made my day. You talk about making my Friday happy, even though Fridays are always happy because it's date night with my husband. You just made my day, Caitlin. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing that in public. So I'm just going to leave that up there while I answer my own questions, and then I'll go to some of the questions. Remember, guys, this is Ask Debbie Anything, so you post the question, I'll answer it. So when do I hire? Okay, first of all, you hire when you're maxed out. It's like, I can't take on another client. Great. All right, so if you are maxed out and you're ready to hand off jobs, right, you begin to hire. It requires, you will need no fewer than 16 regular repeat clients to hand over an entire schedule to a new employee. So if you probably have 20 clients or more, you literally could hire somebody to take over all of those jobs. Now, I always recommend that you hire 2 people. So hire one and start interviewing and vetting the next one. They may not work out. You might not like them, or you might grow faster than you think. And now you need a second person. So I always hire two. You're going to need a good 16 regular repeat clients to keep one full-time cleaner completely busy. So that means maybe you lighten your load. If you have 20 clients that's keeping you busy, maybe you gradually hand off the new hire 10 of those regulars. Now you're cutting back to part-time so you can do more company building and administrative, more sales, more estimates, and more hiring. So maybe you could hand off 10 of your clients, and now you only need about 6 more regular repeat clients for a new employee. That'll keep her somewhat busy if she's solo, right? Now, she will need to service a good 20 to 22 clients a month, but if you're always growing, then she'll have her 16 regulars, plus she'll do 4 or 5 new jobs, helping you fill your schedule, helping you hire the next person, right? So you need to be willing to hand off your clients. You should have at least 20 clients so that you can skinny your schedule down to part-time and hand off half of your schedule to the new hire. Then you need to attract 16 to 18 new recurring clients to keep her busy and to keep her full. And once she's got about 16 recurring clients, she's almost maxed out, right? She can still help you on a few first-time cleans, but she's almost maxed. You need to start hiring another. You need to start hiring another. All of a sudden, you've got a second person hired. You're handing off more of your houses. Now you're hardly doing any cleaning, and you're doing more marketing, more sales. You're going on more estimates. And now you fill up the next person with another 6 clients, right? So now both new hires are working about 16 regular clients a piece. You're still doing marketing. You're still doing sales. You're going on estimates. You're trying to win more clients, right? Before long, you'll be ready to hire employee number 3. So you see how that works? You need to hire when you are maxed out, and you need to hand off some of your jobs when you do hire and do aggressive marketing and onboarding new clients to fill up the new person and then hire number 2. So I hope that helps. Now, some people will ask, and before I go to your questions, I'll answer this one. So some people ask, well, when do I know when to hire somebody to help me in the office? So maybe you don't clean anymore, and you're working in the office and you're like, when do I hire? I feel like I'm maxed out. I'm stretched too thin. So my philosophy is you only hire somebody administratively because they don't bring in revenue, right? They're an overhead expense. You only hire someone administratively when, number one, you're maxed out on your hours and your capacity. So I think the average owner should be willing to work 40 to 50 hours a week to build their empire, not cleaning. Building and growing and building an empire, but not cleaning, right? So, I mean, if you're working 20 hours a week, you just need to work 40 building your company, right? So when should you hire somebody administratively? Well, I believe it's when you're losing money by not hiring somebody to help you in the office. What does that look like? Phones are going to voicemail because you're spending time on payroll. New inbound sales calls are going to voicemail, and it's taking you hours or days to get back with them because you're busy hiring, you're busy going out on estimates, and you're losing sales because there's not enough of you to go around. If you're losing money, then you can replace the cost of a new administrative assistant with the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 new sales you made. You'll replace her salary in no time. So when you're losing money because you can't get to everything, that's the time to hire administrative staff. So I hope that helps. Now, let me go pick through some questions and see what your questions are. Excuse me for drinking and making noise. Okay, so let me try to get these questions answered in order. All right, so here's some comments or questions. Best way to start the business. I've been in the cleaning industry for 20 years, cleaning commercial and residential. Well, it sounds to me like you've already started. Clarify your question, Dithres Ulmer. I apologize if I said your name wrong, but you said the best way to start a business. I've been in the cleaning industry for over 20 years, cleaning commercial and residential. It sounds to me like you've already started your business. So clarify exactly what you mean by that. Obviously, I always say the best way to start is just start, right? Go pick up a few accounts. even if you're not charging right, even if you're still learning the ropes, go pick up a few accounts and learn from your mistakes before you try to grow and expand. Now, do not try to grow and expand, meaning take on more accounts than you personally can handle and hire employees to take on more jobs. Don't do that until you've built solid, proven systems in place, or at least you go through training like I have to provide you with solid, proven systems in place. So don't try to expand your business until you have a proven model, or you could go backwards, you could damage your reputation and literally work like a dog for nothing. So I always say, just start, pick up a few accounts. So if you have a clarifying question for me, I don't know if I helped you with that. So another person, I don't know who this is, says scary hiring because we cannot seem to grow even though we are marketing at 10% of revenue. We lose customers at 5%. Well, if you're marketing at 10% and you're winning clients and you're losing about 5% a month, then you should be at least winning more clients than you lose. So can you clarify that? So for instance, if you're marketing at 10%, and your marketing is effective, your phone is ringing, you're answering it when it rings, you're giving a quote and selling them the job, then you should be able to sell more than you lose. I mean, we all lose clients, right? People move, they die, they quit their job to have a baby, and so they drop us, or we just did a bad job and we get fired, right? It's going to happen. But if you're marketing at 10% revenue, then there's something else going on that's wrong if you can't add more clients than you lose. So think about it. If you have 100 clients, right now, obviously you wouldn't lose 5% if you only had 100 clients. But let's say for the sake of easy math, if you had 100 clients using your service and you were losing 5% of them, right? So you're going to lose, what is that, 5 a month? 100 times 0.05. I'm sorry, I went to public school. Yeah, 5 a month, right? Then that means with 10% marketing, which, hello, if you have 100 clients and they're all averaging what, probably paying you $250, $260 a month, $250 a month. You're doing about $25,000 a month in business, right? With 100 clients. Then at marketing 10%, you're spending $2,500 a month on marketing. Trust me, there is something bad wrong if you're not adding at least, 8 to 10 clients on $2,500 a month. So even if your marketing spend is $300, then you'll add 8 clients. If your marketing spend is generating 10 clients, then you'll lose 5, you'll gain 5, you'll gain 10, and 5 will be your net gain. So I'm not sure if you're marketing 10%, you should absolutely be marketing above your attrition if you're losing 5%. So I hope that helps. All right. Patricia says, it's a silly question. You know what, Patricia? There are no silly questions because you're a smart business owner. So if you have a question, it's a smart question. It's also smart because you asked. But it's a silly question, but it's my first huge house, 7,000 square foot biweekly, no clutter, great couple. I just don't know how to charge. So I have a little formula I'm going to share with you, Patricia. It is my sneaky, tricky little formula that works. I am telling you it works, so just trust me. Typically, you can clean on a weekly basis about 1,000 square feet an hour. So if you have a 7,000 square foot home, you'll probably need about 7 labor hours to clean it every week. And you might need an extra hour to clean it bi-weekly. Now, if it's super easy because great clutter, no couple, maybe no pets, they travel a lot, they only live in about 2,500 square feet of their house, then you might be able to do it in 7 labor hours. Now, if you use this solo model that we teach in CBF, this would be an example of a home that you would send 2 solos and permanently assign those 2 solos. They both meet at the house. They both clean for 3.5 hours. You get the top floor, I get the bottom floor. We'll meet in the middle and finish up together. And they both spend about 3.5 hours in that house, right? So I would say weekly about 7 hours, maybe bi-weekly about 8 hours, depending on how many bathrooms they have and how much they use their bathrooms. Now, in a 7,000 square foot house, they probably have very large rooms that people don't even walk into, right? Like a giant game room, a giant media room, and a family room, and an office, and 5 bedrooms, right? So they might not have 7 bathrooms. They probably have between 6 and 7 bathrooms, right? Or between 5 and 6 bathrooms. So again, with 5 or 6 bathrooms, I would typically need 5 to 6 hours for the overall house. But the fact that it's 7,000 square feet, I would probably allow 7 hours for weekly, 8 hours for biweekly, and then tell them you're willing to adjust up or down after 3 or 4 cleanings to make sure you're not stuck or that you're not overcharging them based on their habits. So I hope that helps. All right, let's see if I have another question here. Having a hard time with marketing in PA, rural area. What do you suggest to bring in the best leads? Well, I don't believe rural, urban, big city, little city. I don't think that has any bearing on your marketing. Are you in a demographic where there are plenty of people with high enough incomes, professional people, both of them work, they make good 100K a year, and above? Are you in the right area, right? And if you're in an area where there's lots of high-end hair salons and nail salons and dog groomers and all the expensive things that people don't want to do themselves, right? Then as long as you're in a good market, I don't care if it's rural or urban. The other thing is, too often people try something, it doesn't work, they quit and try something else. It doesn't work, they quit and try something else. It doesn't work, they quit and try something else. That is a guarantee that nothing will work. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to do the things that have always worked for you, and I want you to do them a lot. A lot. So maybe, let's say you're in this rural area of Pennsylvania, and there's a mom's group in there, and there's 10,000 people in that group. It's like, in my town, I'm kind of rural. I mean, I'm not out in the country, but I'm not in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So our town is called Flower Mound. It's my biggest market, Flower Mound and Highland Village. There's all kinds of Facebook groups. There's like Flower Mound Moms, Flower Mound Entrepreneurs, Flower Mound Police Department, a city of Flower Mound. There's all these Facebook groups, and I join them. And you can get out there and you can connect with people in the groups. You can search for people who are asking, who do you know that cleans houses? I'm looking for a maid service. I'm moving. And you always want to answer. So you also want to read their rules. Are you allowed to post? Are you allowed to advertise? Are you allowed to promote your service? Some groups say 1 day a week you can post. Other groups say whenever you want, go ahead and post, whatever. So go and join some Facebook groups and post every single day that you're allowed in every group that you join, that you're allowed to post, and follow their rules. Go do door hangers in the neighborhoods that have been the most successful for you so far. So if you have a neighborhood over here and it's like, man, I have 3 clients in that neighborhood, you should be doing door hangers in that neighborhood every single week. Not once and then you never got any business off of it. Every single week. So like, go hit those door hangers. Go hit those door hangers. As many as you can stand. Right? Now, if you understand Google Ads and can do it yourself, or if you have a Google Ads expert, you have to understand what you're doing. Pay for Google Ads to target people. You can sign up with services like Home Advisor. But anything you do, you have to do it repetitively, over and over and over again. You probably have groups like Chambers of Commerce, BNI groups, Business Networking International. You've probably got those groups in town that you can join, and they become your referral partners, and they tell people who tell people who tell people. You probably have an email list, all the prospects that have gotten away. You send an email out 1 to 2 times a week. No, not once a month, not even once a week, although that's better than nothing. 1 to 2 times a week. Hey, we've got openings. Hey, take 10% off your first time deep clean. Hey, refer us and get your house cleaned for free when they sign up, right? Send out emails. So oftentimes we try something, it didn't work in a big way, and so we stop. Just keep doing whatever marketing has worked in the past. Do it over and over and over again. Is this landing with you guys? Is this stuff helpful at all? Just type in the word landing if you find this helpful. I got some little applause there. Here's another question. She just rewrote that question. So let me keep going. Let's see. I don't want to miss anybody. Door hangers have been a great tradition. Traditional comeback. Absolutely. Because people are bombarded online with ads. And so when you're in the right neighborhood, oh, good, you guys, this is landing for you. When you are in the right neighborhood, they might get your door hanger for months before they call you. You should not give up. Just keep hitting them with door hangers. Who else has a question? Otherwise, I'm going to have to resort to my own questions. I'm glad this is helping. I'm glad this is landing. Happy Friday. This is my gift to you. So post your question. This is Ask Debbie Anything. You guys realize that if you could hire me for one-on-one coaching, which you can't, I only save my time for CBF members. I don't have enough of me to go around. But if you could hire me for one-on-one coaching, you'd have to pay $1,000 an hour to get me to help you for an hour. So ask me anything. I am here to help. All right. Let's see if anybody else has posted a question. All right. Here's one. I just did a deep dive with my Google Ads guy. Was going to try Facebook ads, and he said Google ads is amazing and just put more there. All right. So I agree with him. If Google ads is working for you, put more money on Google ads. I'm sure what he's telling you is you're not maxed out with your budget. So here's the problem with entrepreneurs, and we're all the same. So I'm talking to myself right here too. We find out what works, and then we try to do something else. It's just human nature. Stop it. If Google ads is working for you, increase the Google ads budget. Don't go try something new that may or may not work. And here's the other thing. He may be an amazing Google ads expert. He's probably not very good at all at Facebook ads. I have found that your best experts are super niche focused. In fact, in my own consulting business, this is absolutely true. The best experts are super niche focused. So you can hire a coach that's a lot cheaper than me any day of the week. But most of the time, especially that's why they're cheaper, they're generalists. And there's not a problem with a generalist. I mean, we kind of get what we pay for, right? But a generalist is not going to help you make tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars more in a very defined period of time. A generalist will just help you with some advice. That'll be good. It won't be bad necessarily unless they're really incompetent. But you need experts. So like in my space, Cleaning Business Fundamentals, I only work with one group of people. Only one. People who want to grow and expand a residential cleaning business. I'm not the best coach or expert in the space of growing and expanding a janitorial commercial building contractor cleaner. I'm just not the best. Am I terrible? No, I'm probably better than most. I hate to say it. I do know a thing about building teams and marketing and branding and profits, but I'm not the best in that space. You should not hire me, and I wouldn't let you. I only work with people who are trying to grow a residential cleaning business empire. Why? Because you should only work with the best. And so when he says stick with Google ads, number one, it's probably because that's really where his scope of expertise is. So work with him. But the minute you feel maxed out on your budget, which we tend to max out our Google ads budget, it's like, hey, Paul, can you raise our Google ads budget? He's like, no, you're maxed out. You got all you're spending as much money as you possibly can on the people who are looking for maid service. So then I do have to go to other sources like a Facebook advertiser who's an expert at Facebook ads. And then, of course, email marketing and door hangers by Fiverr rounds and magazines and local magazines. So, once we max out one area, now it's time to expand. So I know that was a long answer. I hope that was helpful. All right. The next question is, hi, Debbie, what is your recommendation for personal time off with percentage pay? Well, now this is something I go in deep, so I really won't have time to go too deep here. And I teach this in my CBF training program, cleaningbusinessfundamentals.com, if anybody's interested. But when we do personal time off, we take an average of what they typically make in a 3-month period and see what they would average in a week, right? Because you have some people that maybe are part-time, and if you're giving them paid time off, let's say a week's pay vacation, And maybe one gal hardly ever works more than 30 hours a week. So she only makes 600, 650, 675 a week. Well, if that's what she averages per week in a 3-month period, then I'd pay her that for a 1-week paid vacation. But if you've got another person who's a rock star, she works full time, she never calls in sick. On average, she's averaging 800-900 a week, which is our top A players, right? They make 800-900 a week plus tips. And if she's averaging that consistently in a 3-month period, then that's what her personal time off pay will reflect in a week. So that's my advice, is just take an average of what they would normally make per day, per week in a 3-month period of time. And I like to go with 3 months because, if you just go, what was her average last week? Well, maybe she had the flu last week and she never works that few hours. So it kind of isn't fair. All right, let me go find another question. Good job, guys. Thank you for populating some questions. I love Q&A time. All right, how do you get employees to start working for your company when you barely have enough to pay them at first? How do you get them to start? Well, Leanne, you have to put yourself in their shoes. Are you going to work for somebody who can barely pay you? Number one, there's no job security in that. That's scary. I got babies to feed, right? So you need to put yourself in their shoes. Why would anyone work for you? You need to create a job so worth it that people are raising their hand going, can I work for you, right? You cannot ask people to do you a favor with the hope that it will pay off for them eventually. So you're not ready to hire if you don't have a job that's worth it to them, right? So a couple of things, and obviously we could spend hours on this, but a couple of things is, number one, you should have more clients than you can service. Number two, you should be charging enough that when you pay that new employee a percentage of that job, and if they're independent contractors, which I don't agree with, but I know a lot of people use, and they only use them because they don't know how to make it work with W-2, and I know how to make it work. But let's say you had an independent contractor, you're probably going to have to pay them about 50% of the fee. Well, that's not bad. You get the other 50% and you didn't clean. So it's not bad. I mean, it's not the model I teach. It's not the model I recommend. It's not the model that gets you to $1 million and you still make 6 figures. But just as a simple example, you just hire somebody, you say, look, I'm going to give you 50% of the job. Now, here's the problem. If you're already charging below market value, then 50% won't be worth it, right? So let's say, for example, you are only charging your clients $30 an hour. Well, who's going to work for you for 15 an hour? Nobody. Plus drive their own car, plus not get paid between houses, drive time. It's not going to happen, right? So if you're going to pay them a commission, so let's say for the sake of ease and example and easy math, if you're going to pay them 50%, it's like 50% of what, right? 50% of not enough is never going to work, but 50% of, wow, you charge 60 an hour, so I get 50% of that? Hey, I'll work for you. And then you need to do a lot of marketing and build up her schedule so she has 16 to 20 recurring clients that are averaging paying you whatever your market will bring, which in most parts of the country is 60 an hour. And if you're not charging 60 an hour, it's probably because you are personally charging private housekeeper pricing, right? So oftentimes the person who cleans is charging private housekeeper pricing, right? That's why they hired you, because you're cheap, right? I'm sorry, I don't want to insult you, but I remember that's why they hired me. I was cheap. I was cheap. When I was growing my business, trying to get it to $1 million, I was $20 an hour, right? And I was trying to hire employees to earn 50% of that, and they were making $10 an hour. Guess what? I had very high turnover. Now, this was years ago. It wasn't as bad as it sounds right now, but some of you, you're charging $40 an hour. I'm sorry, but 50% of $40 an hour is not worth it. Shoot, they can go work almost anywhere and make 18, 19 an hour these days. So you've got to charge enough to make it worth it. And then you give them half or 45% or whatever it is, the model that you're going to follow. So I hope that helps, but you have to make it worth it to them, Leanne. That's the key. it can't just be worth it to you. Oh, I'm trying to grow my empire. Will you do this? No, it has to be worth it to them. Oh, I'm going to change your life. You're going to make more working for me than you did working at those other crummy jobs you've had, right? It has to be worth it to them. It's one of our signature components of training in Cleaning Business Fundamentals is we show you how to build a company that's worth working for. Most people have accidentally, not out of malice, but it's just by accident. Most people have built a company that's not worth working for. And so people come on board, they do it for a few months and they're out. All right. So we show you how to create a job that people don't want to quit. Right. We show you how to create a job that's worth working at long term. So we call them career cleaners, how to attract career cleaners with a job that's worth it. All right. So Jill has a question. All right. Jill says, I am concerned about moving from 1099 to W-2 since we are very small and I only have 2 girls and that are 3/4 part-time and one that is part-time, when to convert to W-2 and what is the process? Well, obviously, Jill, we could talk a long time. You are the perfect candidate for Cleaning Business Fundamentals. So if you haven't considered it, you absolutely should at least apply and let's have a conversation and just see if we're a good fit. If you're not a good fit for me or we don't think you're ready, then we'll just say, hey, come back another time. But because of the question you're asking, I'm going to say you should go and apply for Cleaning Business Fundamentals. So it's cleaningbusinessfundamentals.com. Just fill out a little form, book a phone call, and we'll walk you through. But let me just give you quick in a nutshell, in case you don't want that and you're definitely not interested in investing money in your training. A couple of things here, and here's something to think about. So one way you can go about this is just don't worry about the ones you have right now, right? So you have 2 girls that are 2/3 of the time working, 3/4 of the time working, and 1 person that's part-time. So in theory, leave them alone. But with the new person you hire, so I'm assuming that's 3 people working for you, 1 part-time and 2 or 3/4 time. The new person working for you, the next person you hire, you simply tell them, I'm hiring for full-time. And basically your pitch in the interview process is, obviously you say it nicer than this, but it's take it or leave it. We're hiring full-time. We're hiring full-time because you can't make any money with part-time W-2s. You just can't. There's a long explanation around why that's the case, but you can't. When you see people with W-2 employees, they got workers' comp, you have unemployment tax. Sometimes in certain states, you have to pay certain benefits like 2 weeks of paid vacation and all kinds of stuff. By the time you pay all that crap, if they're not bringing in full-time revenue, you can't afford W-2 versus a 1099. All right, you can let them work part-time because legally they have to have their own business if they're legal 1099s, right? So I would say leave the group alone that you have right now. 3 of them, they're happy. The next person you hire them as a W-2. It's very easy. It's very easy. Now, you will have to probably line up workers' comp unless you're in an exempt state, but most people aren't in exempt states. You'll have to get some workers' comp. It's not as expensive as you think. And you need to charge enough to be worth, to be able to hire employees. And if they're full-time, they'll pay for themselves with payroll taxes and workers' comp. And if you charge enough, you have to charge enough. Most people are undercharging. What I have found when they come through CBF and they think they're charging at as much as they can get away with, most people, when they join our CBF program and they see how easy it is to charge more, most people are able to raise their prices 20 to 30% above where they're at right now. 20 to 30% above where they're at right now. And oftentimes they tell me, oh no, I can't charge that in my area. I'm like, really? Follow these 3 steps and come back and tell me if you didn't get new clients at this new price. And they always come back and they're like, I can't believe how easy it was. I used to charge 45 an hour. Now I'm charging 60 an hour or 65 an hour. It's incredible. So you do have to charge enough, Jill, to make sure you can afford W-2. Right? So there's all kinds of complexities there. And that's why we cover it. We have a very simple formula for showing people how to convert 1099 to W-2, but you got to do it the right way or it's going to cost you so much money. You'll think, well, why did I bother? Right? So you got to make sure you do it right. But for those of you that know you're ready to invest in your training, and it's not for everybody, right? Go visit Cleaning Business Fundamentals and just book a strategy session, and let's talk about your business and your needs. And we will tell you if we feel that it's too soon for you, that you're not really ready to build an empire. You still need to keep working a job. And that there's no shame in that. I cleaned houses for 8 years, but then when I was ready to grow, I was ready. All right, next question is, and I got to watch my time because I have a 3 o'clock appointment. All right, so I might have missed another question because it says, he said, my account is working like a charm and to just up my budget. Oh, that must be the Google Ads guy. Thinking about targeting, marketing, and SendJim. Well, exactly. You could add SendJim, but I would raise the Google Ads budget first. Why make your job hard, right? Why complicate? You know what we do as entrepreneurs? We complicate everything, right? Listen to your ads guy. Raise your Google Ads budget first. And then if you raise it and you're like, oh, I'm getting too much business, I'm shorthanded, well, then you'll be glad you didn't do SendJim. I'm not saying don't do SendJim. I love SendJim. But if you're not maxed out on your Google Ads budget and it's working, then go increase that budget first. Okay, because SendJim can be a little bit expensive. Yes, it is targeted marketing, but it takes a lot of repetition, a lot of mailings, and mailings aren't cheap because postage isn't cheap, and it could take you several months to get results out of a neighborhood. Just saying. Whereas Google Ads will be pretty instantaneous. All right, so here's somebody else. I am in CBF. It's me not utilizing as I should. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't know who that was, but you know what? Don't beat yourself up. We've all done it. I'm in a training course that I spent a lot of money for. I'm talking a lot of money. You guys think we're expensive? Oh, please. But it took me 4 months to log in and do my work, right? So don't beat yourself up, but don't allow yourself to not take action and utilize this incredible benefit. You could be building your empire. You could be doubling your income. Just follow a few of the steps, not even all of the steps, just a few, and you'll be shocked. You'll more than pay for the course within 2 or 3 months. You'll double, triple, quadruple, and I've seen some people 10x their investment the first year just by taking action, even if they didn't take all of the action they intended to until their second year. And we have a progression program, right? So I don't know who this is because it's not showing your name, but don't beat yourself up. Don't feel guilty. Just take action. Just put it on your calendar. I'm going to get through the rest of my modules and I'm going to start taking action. And we'll help you. Make sure you're on those coaching calls. We will help you. You're never alone again in business when you're in CBF. All right. So Leanne says, that's what I'm saying when you have too much for you to handle as clients. Right. When you are maxed out with clients, it's time to hire, but make sure you're charging enough to where the percentage you pay out makes the job worth it to them. So I don't know. I might have missed something, so I'm not answering correctly. All right. So somebody else says, I remember the first time we spoke and you told me that too, that you're not that great. You're not that great. You're just cheap. I told you that, didn't I? That was probably ticked you off. Right. So this is a horrible, painful thing, but I have told people this just to kind of smack them around and wake them up. It's like when people say, oh, I win 100% of the clients I quote. And it's like, I'm looking at your pricing. It isn't that you're so great at cleaning. It's that you're so cheap. So I'm sorry if that was too harsh. I can be very direct, but I always say it in a loving way because I want you to know the truth, right? When you're undercharging and everyone's referring you, it isn't necessarily because you're good. Now, of course, you're good. You'd be out of business, right? That's a given. But we think that we're in high demand because we're good. No, you didn't get fired because you're good. Do you see the difference? You didn't get fired because you're good. Oftentimes we're in high demand and everyone's referring us because we're so cheap. We don't charge enough and they all know it and you're the only one who doesn't. So raise your prices. All right, Leanne writes, how do you get cleaners to work without losing those new clients? Well, you need to train them right. You cannot place a knucklehead in the home of a client who's paying full price. You can't. So you have to screen them properly. You need to hire really well. We teach you how. And then your training has to be amazing. I have a turnkey training program that is absolutely to die for. And it's literally a 1 week, 5-day training program. If you follow it to a T, you will create very well-trained employees. And then there are other systems in place, right? So once they pass training and you hired the right person, right? You can't hire a C player and ever expect them to become an A. It ain't going to happen, right? If you're hiring somebody else's dud, somebody else's loser, well, you're going to give your clients a dud and a loser. But if you're hiring an A player and you put them through really good training, and then you just go check their houses the first week they're on their own and make sure everything's good, then your clients will be fine and you won't lose your clients. Just go check their work. Do not let a new hire do a bad job or you will lose your clients. Oh, thank you. Somebody just said, hey, Jill, CBF is life-changing. Yeah, Jill, when you're ready. We never, ever want somebody to join our program until they're really ready to double and triple their business, right? And not everybody wants to do that right away. So, oh, Jill says, oh, you're already a CBF member. Well, there you go. There you go. Follow the CBF formula. See, I don't always recognize the names. My apologies. All right. So Leanne says, I'm saying that I don't want to pay them, but to get new clients, I can't handle to get new clients for myself, but I don't have work. So you have to ask I'm not sure if I ever answered your question, and I apologize. But the key, Leanne, to growth is you got to hand off jobs, get out of the field, which, you can go through the 90 days mop-free program and learn how to get out of the field in 90 days. But you have to hand off jobs or you'll never grow. You'll never expand. All right. Kathy Merchant says, first thing I did was raise my prices. Thank you, Kathy. Right? So Rome wasn't built in a day. You can't change everything that's broken in your business in 1 week. Right? That's why you have a whole year to work with us closely that first year before you go into momentum to start implementing and making gradual changes. And the bigger your business, obviously, the slower you need to make change. But one of the first things, Kathy Merchant, who is now a certified CBF coach, and if you want somebody that can help you set goals, oh my word, this woman is so organized. She has tools and metrics she can share with you on a coaching call, especially if you're a CBF member. Book a focusing goal setting call with Kathy. But Kathy knows how to prioritize things to get things done. She has a very large business. She's opening a second location. Her business is mostly self-running and all because of CBF. Why? Because she follows through. She takes action. She didn't do everything her first year. She's still making changes. But the first thing she did was raise her prices. And I bet, Kathy, you didn't lose anybody, did you? And if you did lose somebody, it was the knucklehead customer you really didn't like anyway. All right, let's see if we have any more questions. We are charging $50 per hour. We finally hit our 55% labor costs. Good girl. But overall, we are 20% profit, $7,000 to $8,000 a month. And we want to bring on office help, but can't afford to dip into our profits. Well, you need to look at the math again, because if you're 55% on cost of goods sold, that leaves you 25% for overhead, and that leaves you your 20% profit. Now, maybe you need to dip into your profit, but let's say you're at $8,000 a month. You have 25% of that for overhead. So that means you can spend about $2,000 a month for additional expenses, right? So if your overhead is very low and your overhead profit number is even higher, then you should have budget. If not, 8,000 is a little bit low to bring on administrative staff. So I would make sure you grow to probably like 12,000 to 15,000 before you bring on an admin team. Because if you're using the CBF formula, $8,000 a month is really not enough work for an admin as long as you're not cleaning. So I would just grow a little bit more to fit that first key hire, which would just be a low-cost administrative assistant, somebody for like $20 an hour. Right. Oh, gosh. Kathy says doubled our revenue in 8 months. Yeah. And your revenue is already significant. So knowing what your revenue was and you doubled it, I think you probably paid for CBF probably 10 times your first year. So that's pretty exciting. Thank you for sharing that. Coach Kathy Merchant. If you want to learn more about CBF and you're like, I just want to talk to somebody, private message her on Facebook. Just talk to Kathy. She's so sweet. She won't pressure you. She'll tell you if she doesn't think you're a good fit. All right. If your tax guy told you to go buy stuff before year end, what would you invest in? Well, I don't necessarily believe that you should go buy stuff year end to save on taxes, right? But if you kind of are a little bit upside down on your taxes, you haven't been setting aside your 25 or 30% to pay your income tax, and you're looking at a whopper bill, okay, you could pay off some things if you have the money, pay off a credit card, right? Although credit cards don't, never mind, credit cards don't help you because you already took the expense in the month you made the purchase, blah, blah, blah. So never mind the credit cards. But, you know, let's say you are going to need a new computer, fine, buy it before December 31st. Let's say you are planning on buying all new company shirts sometime January, February. Okay, maybe buy them in December if you already know what you want. But don't waste money just to save on taxes, right? If you're an S Corp, then your profit is taxed at your personal level, right? So I'm not a big fan of just wasting money to save on taxes. But if you do have some year-end expenses, you can go ahead and pay right here in this year. That's not a bad thing. If I did, I just replaced them at the highest rate, right? If you lost a few. Yep. Let's see. I don't have any credit, but thinking about paying you off. Well, if you're making payments on CBF, there's no advantage to paying it off early because we don't charge you interest, unlike any other bank or credit card would. So if you're in CBF making payments, make it easier on yourself. Just make payments. Our payments are so low. It's good to be in that habit. So there's no incentive to pay off CBF because we aren't charging you high interest like most programs are. So anyway, I think that's the last question that was posted. I hope this was fun. Ask Debbie Anything. I hope you enjoyed this. And I will be going live and broadcasting it to my own website page if I can get all the technology worked out. So hopefully this was helpful. I hope you're having a happy Friday. If you are not registered for CBF Live coming up in April, it's not too soon to register. If you're not registered for CBF Live, please go to cbflive.com. The prices are still very low because there's early bird discounts. Get in before it's too late or you'll pay double. And it's 3 full days of training in Dallas, Texas, only about residential cleaning. It is going to be the most incredible. Thank you. Hashtag I'm going. Put that in the comments if you're already registered. cbflive.com. Get in while the registration is at its lowest. 3 full days, Dallas, Texas. We're talking about all things residential cleaning. You will think you died and went to heaven when you're in a room full of high energy, super motivated, excited residential cleaning business owners that are crushing it. You'll have great conversations over cocktails, at dinner, at breakfast, during the lunch networking times. You'll have great conversations and solve problems. You'll learn stuff you've never learned before, and you will go back ready to double and triple your cleaning business. So go to cbflive.com. Thank you guys for posting hashtag I'm going. I can't wait to see you all there. And I hope you enjoyed this Ask Debbie Anything. If you want me to do this more often, I'm thinking maybe on Fridays. If you want me to do this more often, just type in the comments, ask. And then I'll know that you want me to do this more often. So anyway, happy Friday. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. And we will talk to you the next time I go live. So take care.